some of the children like the Minds Enterprise Wolfpack representative, Mr. Shift Your Perspective, being accompanied by my what I say yeah, blood of my blood, man. Yeah, the blood of my blood. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Javon, blood of my blood. Yeah. We gonna, I decided, we're gonna have my own because I like the way the man thinks, not only because we share the same bloodline, but because, he has a nice head, so he has a nice perception about a lot of different things, so I like talking to him as well. And we just trying something new and really hoping that you all are able to hear. So I got the sound going, just try to give it a good vibe, and we just gonna roll with it and push this thing with something new and like the Minds Enterprise. And I'm hoping that you all find it very interesting, this whole new introduction. So, Mr. Trevon, I don't know if you got something you want to say as your introduction, anything you want to say right off the rip in regards to the introduction, or you ready to get right into it?
First of all, I want y'all to know, y'all watching, y'all that's viewing, I'm gonna put this into the universe, you feel me? I'm finna be the next big thing in the world, really. So, I just want y'all to know that. So y'all see me on the movie or something, you feel me? This is what you see.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And again, I hope y'all can hear us, because it's just, again, we just doing it rough draft, work with what we got, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way you do it. You work what you got, the way you are, and make it happen, you know what I'm saying? So, without prolonging this any further, we're gonna jump into just a few little concepts and subjects that we was talking about, a few little topics. Yeah. And I know one of the questions that you had asked me earlier was about, just the whole, I guess the whole tendency of the, I guess the key, I don't even really know how to put it, but
I guess like the mind state that a person is in when they're in a certain environment and they already got their back against the wall, and then they having to deal with people antagonizing them. So,
right.
I guess like the retaliation, how they deal with certain things. Like,
and you were telling me though, you were saying how you kind of see how I guess the act of someone hurting someone or whatever, how
a person could get to that.
Yeah, how a person reach that point, right? And one of the things that I was putting out before in regards to that, when you think about a lot of the, especially whether it be our youth today, whether it be, us in the past 10, 20 years ago, most physical confrontations, and we understand that physical confrontation is a way of communication. You know what I'm saying? If you think about like the mother and the way she communicates with a child, or I just say the parent to a child, is that when an individual say stop doing something, and you verbalize that one or two times, the next thing you know, the parent get physical and pop. Popping is a form of communication. Yeah. And so the more, some parents are quick to do that than others. Some parents try to appeal to the child intellectually and get them to understand why I'm saying don't do this. And I want you to not do this based on your understanding of why I'm telling you that's not the best thing. But if we teach through physical, communication, then we also teaching them that same way of communicating. So when you think about a lot of the youth that's growing up like in the hood, whether it be me in my past when I was laid back, or people today, or individuals that we don't know out there, that physical communication is a learned behavior. Of course it went from patting on the hand to pushing to hitting to grabbing something and hitting to trying to hurt somebody really badly, but it still is a result of an individual trying to make someone comply. Right, you know, so typically that's an emotional thing, it's a reactionary thing, it's not really a mental or what I would like to describe as a response to something, but it's a reaction to something. And the way I was taught was that a reaction is more instinctive, which is it's void consideration, you know. So most of the violence we see today, no matter who it's committed by, kind of starts in that process. And again, it's a form of communication. We have to look at it as such. And so a lot of time, once it reaches that point of physical communication, it's more emotional at that point. And so if you think about it from when the parent hit most of the time, it was an emotional, it was a reaction. It was an emotional way of dealing with something. And so whether when you see the young people today dealing with things the way they deal with it, you know, there's a lot of pressure coming on, you know, to individuals his age as well as people our age. You know, there's a lot of pressure out there in the streets. And so sometimes if you haven't been cultivated with the tools to deal with all that kind of stuff, you know, then you only know what you know, and you only can deal with something the way you've been taught, and you know how to deal with it the way you've been dealing with it, you know. And so, I mean, basically, it's a response to kind of like, you know, the question that you asked earlier, which we said we was going to talk about it, you know, on the film, on the camera, was that, you know, just that whole thing, how it can make you feel that it's natural. It makes the person begin to feel or think that, you know, this is a natural process. You know, this is what it's getting to. I understand why it happened. And once it becomes rational and logical to you, then it becomes easier to do. You know what I'm saying? Because now you rationalize it in your own mind. Like, what else was I supposed to do? How else was I supposed to deal with it? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that, you know, I once read in this book, it was a mafia book. It was about, you know, about Dunn process. It was a Dunn quote in his book. And one thing he said was that you can't rationalize with a fool. Understanding that, in my mind, the way I took it is like, a fool could be anybody who's that you're no longer dealing with on a mental level or on an intellectual level. You know, like one of the quotes that them Dunns would say is, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. You know what I'm saying? And really what they saying at that point was like, he ain't got no choice. Either he gonna accept this or we're gonna eradicate it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they meant by it. But that was their last resort at trying to rationalize with you, in a sense. Okay, trying to let you know that you don't have no other choice. You know, and they really could have, like, I could just take it, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But my point is that when we're dealing with an individual that is sometimes, once they reach an emotional peak, you know, that emotional piece being so strong at times, if we're not working on the daily basis of trying to navigate through those emotions, always be on top of it mentally, always trying to make the best choices in the season while we feeling some kind of way. If we're not like always functioning like that, then we are more prone to just reacting. But if we are more, you know, when we kind of make a habit of always trying to think through it, question why I feel this way, why I feel that way, why did it affect me like this, why did it affect me like that. You know what I mean? And even be able to like look at a situation and say, you know, I can tell by this kind of individual, that kind of character, that I can't get in certain debates with. That it's going to turn into an argument being something more emotional than it is mental, you know what I'm saying, about the way you personally feel, and that's the way you feel, you got all right the world to feel that way. And, you know, it's just all that whole process because, you know, being able to just remove yourself in certain situations, whether it be with a female or with a male, you know what I'm saying, because women can get a young man or even an older man in a lot of drama or situations that he don't want to be in if he's not mentally, intellectually equipped to deal with her.
Right, right.
Yeah, so, I mean, what would you like to say on that? You know?
I don't got too much to it. We got to the next game.
I mean, 'cause we just freestyling, so that was just one thing I know we had discussed, and the other thing, I would like to bring up, before bringing this to a close was, just the whole idea about depression. Depression is a very serious thing. I know different scholars say it's a disease and so on, this, that, and other, but just speaking it from a personal point of view, I understand depression can take you to a point to where you want to destroy yourself and remove yourself from society. And so, depression to me is a result of just not being grateful, man. Not being grateful for where you are, not being grateful for what you have. Because no matter what it looks like, no matter what you compare it to, no matter what you wish it was, it is what it is. And if you don't value it, appreciate it, that you have the opposite feeling and perspective for it. And so therefore, if you're always looking at what someone has that you don't have, but that you wish you had, and you're never looking at what you have and what someone don't have, then you're always gonna find yourself devaluing, the very thing that is in your hand. You're gonna devalue the experiences you went through and been blessed to navigate and rise out of, and not understanding that, you can have when you talk about material things, you can have whatever you want. As long as you still breathing, as long as you still mentally sound, as long as you ain't sitting in that day room. You know what the day room is? that's the jailhouse, incarceration. So as long as you ain't incarcerated, you to me, you're in a very strong position. Now, I've even been around brothers who had strokes, and you would think that these individuals were born with some kind of physical handicap, but really it's a stroke that put them in that situation. And that affected me when I seen so many people like that who was bounded to wheelchairs and whatever else, to be physically healthy, man, to where you can see, you can move both hands and feet and all that.
Yeah.
Say, man, that's an enormous blessing within itself. You can be homeless in the street, but as long as you have that, you gotta be grateful, man, because.
But see, I feel like with depression, once you allow yourself to be engulfed in that way of thinking and that state of mind, that state of emotion, you can get to the point where you feel I'm healthy, I can breathe right, I can walk, I got both legs, both arms functional. But with that being said, you would still feel I don't want none of this. I don't want to be here, period. And you can get to that, you can start thinking I say when a person is suicidal, I feel they reach the conclusion in their mind that they feel everybody they know will be better off without them. When they really at that point.
Okay, let me ask you this though. See, you gotta understand too, when you talk about energy is a force. Your mind and your thoughts is a form of energy.
Right.
So when you say you would be better off without me, I have to then question what makes you say that, what makes you feel that way. And so when you go into the reason why, if you really research your reason why I feel people would be better off without me, why, despite I have millions and I live in this big house and I'm physically healthy and people know me all over the world, why still do I feel that you'll be better off without me and life ain't worth living no more? I'm tired of it. Think about this here.
Well, I say from when you go to the money.
But I'm saying you got people who have millions who don't feel who still feel the same way.
Yeah.
So when you reach that, when you reach the, see, no matter what it is you have, you know, because I learned that material is not going to never satisfy you internally. You know what I'm saying? You got people who have millions who prove that. So when you think that all I need is to have millions and all my problems are going to be solved, then you're going to find, because once you go into a new world and a whole another world open up to you, and then you find out that, dang, everybody want to sue me everywhere I go. I can't talk to nobody. I can't do this. I can't do that. People lying on this, that, and other because they want some of my money. I can't. Who can I trust? All these fake homeboys coming around like they love me. Really, all they want is because of who I am, what I got. Family member I never knew.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, out the woodwork saying they love me and coming around, they mad at me because I won't do everything they want me to do. You know what I'm saying? All these chicks saying they want me, and the first 2 chicks I tried to be with, they didn't try to put babies on me. They wasn't mine, and what, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So once you find yourself in a position with so much, but you find yourself that it's like it bondages you, because now you feel that I can't even deal with nobody, because every time I turn around, somebody's trying to take it from me. They said the more you know, on that movie called, this is real quick, we're going to go back to what we were saying about that whole depression thing, but in a movie called Mr. Heineken, one thing about movies is real life principles and concepts, you got to pay attention. But in a movie called Kidnapping Mr. Heineken, he told one of the kidnappers, he said, man, I like that. You're loyal to your friends. You got a lot of friends. He said, I can't remember how he said it verbatim, but what he ended up saying was that in life, you either gonna have a lot of friends or you're gonna have a lot of money, but you ain't gonna have both. You know what I'm saying? He said you're not gonna have both. And you ever heard the saying, it's lonely at the top? And that's why, because once you choose a path, then it's like, do you really know what comes with it? You know what I'm saying? And you have people who don't have all the money in the world, but they are so happy because of all of the relations they have that are genuine. You know? Versus individuals who...
I think it depends on the person too, though.
And without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. For an individual to be able to have a lot of wealth and fame and all that and still find, they have to really truly be happy with themselves, though.
Yeah.
They have to be happy with themselves, and they have to, I already knew that when they was making this decision, there's a lot of people not going to be there.
Yeah, because I know with me, like, I think I have a bad habit of doing that. Like, when I discuss the situation, I think of myself as the, you know, so, and I feel like with that situation and the money, I feel like me right now, I don't got a lot of friends right now as it is.
Me either. I feel like I'll be alright. You know what I'm saying? Ain't too much different than what it is right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be alright at the top too, you know?
Yeah.
You know, shoot. Hey, like Zero say, man, leave me alone again tonight. You know what I'm saying? You left me alone last night. I ain't tripping. But, you know, back to the whole depression thing, the thing is that on the other side, that makes a person so depressed that you'll be better off without me is the fact that, again, it's something you wish you had and you don't have it. Despite all that I had, I don't have some over here that I really think I value more than all of this. And because I don't have it, life is not worth living to me. And so, it's always something that you don't have that makes you take away from the value of everything that you have. That makes you so ungrateful to where you become that depressed. And I'm telling you, I done been there. I done physically been there. And that's one thing I don't take lightly from, you know, I don't take lightly with anybody when I see them going through, but I'm going to tell you, as a result of me being there, this may sound a little contradictory, but I don't know how to really empathize with a person that's depressed.
Alright, Because it's like, if I got through it, I know you can get through it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, one thing about me is that depression can be very emotional.
Okay.
And so emotional, once you reach a certain level of emotion, it becomes irrational.
Right.
It's not about logic, it's just about the way you feel.
Right.
And so for me, I'm in a place today to where I don't know how to connect to things sometimes that isn't logical in my mind that I can't make sense out of. So if I tell you, man, look, you got all the things to be grateful for, you have to try to connect to that. You have to start really valuing where you are opposed to where you come through. You have to begin to do that. If I've told you all that, I don't even almost know what else to tell you. So beyond that point, it's like, I've given you all I got. And now, you have to find your way there. It's nothing I can do now. If you're gonna die, I don't know what else. If you're gonna kill yourself, it's like, shoot, I don't know. It's nothing I can do to stop it now. Because I feel like even if I'm able to see you doing, of course I'm gonna try to grab you and stop you from doing it physically, but if you really want to succeed, eventually you are going to succeed. Because no one can watch you 24 hours a day. But, anything else you want to add to that?
Sure. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm alright, brother. You alright?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. Cool.
Well, hey, you come with territory, y'all. It's when you really doing it on ground level. Yeah. But anything you want to add before we get up out of here?
I think with depression, if you're going through some form of depression, I think it's important that you talk to somebody about it, because I know a lot of the time it's easy to feel misunderstood, and I think a lot of that stems from what you said. Like when it involves emotion, it's like it gets to that point where it's irrational. So you so emotional, you thinking that nobody's gonna be able to connect with you, nobody's gonna be able to understand where I'm coming from, but that's not the case. In some aspects, everybody is their own person. So in some aspects, with 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be somebody you can talk to that can help you out with the situation.
Right.
So I think it's just important for people to understand, because I know, like, I'm 20, I done been through my few little episodes, and I know for a fact, like, I'm not gonna say I'm a weak person or nothing, but I just know when you have somebody there to be there for you, it's way better.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Yeah.
So don't try to. I don't think people should try to deal with things on their own so much.
Right.
And try to bear the burden by themselves, thinking that it just gotta be me, myself, and I. Because I think that's what drives you deeper into the hole.
Right. I totally agree. I totally agree with you. You'll find, man, basically that there's always gonna be somebody, with a different level of temperament and intolerance and so on that are more equipped to connect with you, And I definitely agree, because even when somebody says I'm independent, I've done it all by myself or whatever, the human being is not created to be a so-called independent free creature. We don't function on that level. We don't get our blessings that way. We don't get punished that way. Everything that the creator, or how we want to identify the most high, the universe, in whatever way we get our blessings and in whatever way we get our punishment is done through creation. So, for me, with that being understood, we're interdependent, by definition, meaning that, basically we need each other. No matter what, man, no matter what, we need each other. That's what makes social platforms so powerful, because it coincides with our nature, you know.
Because a person can only be self-made, like, to a certain extent. Like,
Right.
even if you a rapper, you can say, I did this by myself, I made good songs, I made the people like it. Okay, you made good songs, yeah, but if the people, it's still them people who like the song that got you put on in your position. So it's all to a certain extent. You never fully self-reliable.
Right. Well, say, man, I appreciate y'all's time, and Javon, I appreciate you for sitting in with me, man. But you finna get on up out of here. It's kind of late. We up in the shop, man, doing it real late night. You know, I appreciate the time we spent, the time we talked, and I appreciate you all for always checking, you know, Enlightening Minds Enterprise out. Let's shift your perspective, man. And again, man, you like it, you share it. I believe this is my life purpose, my life path, and I also believe that what will be, will be. And with that being said, man, peace and blessings to y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, this only the beginning though. You feel me? It's only the beginning.